Hello students, today we are going to start a new topic of calculus known as integrals. It is chapter 7 in NCERT book part 2. Students, while study of mathematics, we must come across several pairs of inverse operations like addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, etc. Integration and differentiation are also a pair of inverse operations. Students, differential calculus is centered on the concept of the derivatives. The original motivation for the derivative was the problem of defining tangent lines to the graph of the functions and calculating the slope of such lines. So far, from a given function, we have been finding its derivatives. But the question arises, what is the function whose derivative is known to us? Students, if derivative of function is given, then the function itself is called antiderivative or integral or primitive of the given function. Students, if I ask you to find the area of these shaded regions, how will you calculate? To find the area of these shaded regions, we shall need some concepts of integral calculus. So, in integral calculus, we come across two types of problems. Number one, the problem of finding a function whenever its derivative is given. Number two, the problem of finding the area bounded by the graph of a function under certain conditions. These two problems lead to the two forms of the integrals, indefinite integrals and definite integrals, which together constitute the integral calculus. Indefinite integrals lead to solve the problem of finding a function whenever its derivative is given, and definite integrals lead to solve the problem of finding the area bounded by the graph of a function under certain conditions. First, we will discuss about indefinite integration, which is actually an inverse process of differentiation. Instead of differentiating a function, we are given the derivative of a function and asked to find its primitive, that is the original function. Such a process is called integration or anti-differentiation. Let's consider the following examples. First is derivative of sin x with respect to x. We know that it is cos x. Derivative of x cube with respect to x is equals to 3x square. Derivative of e raised to power x with respect to x is equal to e raised to power x. As we know, indefinite integration is an inverse process of differentiation. So, if derivative of sin x with respect to x is cos x, then integral or antiderivative of cos x is sin x. Similarly, if derivative of x cube with respect to x is 3x square, then integral of 3x square is x cube. Similarly, if derivative of e raised to power x with respect to x is e raised to power x, then integral or antiderivative of e raised to power x is e raised to power x. Students, derivative of x cube with respect to x is 3x square. What will be the derivative of x cube plus 2? That is also 3x square. If I want to calculate derivative of x cube minus 7 with respect to x, that is also 3x square. It means if I add some constant in x cube, a new function comes out, but derivative of each such function with respect to x is 3x square. So, replacing all these constants by c, we get a function x cube plus c, and its derivative with respect to x is also 3x square. Therefore, integral or antiderivative of 3x square may be x cube plus 2, x cube minus 7, or x cube plus c, where c is arbitrary constant. So, in general, we write integral of 3x square as x cube plus c. This arbitrary constant c is known as constant of integration. From here we conclude that if gx is integral of fx, then gx plus c is also integral of fx, where c is arbitrary constant or known as constant of integration. Also we come to know that derivative of a function, if it exists, is unique, but the integral of a function is not unique. In fact, integral of a function differ by a real constant. More generally, we can say if there is a function g such that derivative of gx equals to fx, then derivative of gx plus c is also equals to fx. Let's introduce a new symbol shown in blue color. It will represent the entire class of antiderivatives, and we read it as indefinite integral of f with respect to x. Symbolically, we write it as integral of fx with respect to x equals to gx plus c. Also, write it in notation of x and y. That is, if dy upon dx equals to fx, then we write y equals to integral of fx with respect to x. Let's understand the symbol and their meaning in this way also. Left hand side of this result is pronounced as integral of fx with respect to x. This is the symbol used for integration. Here fx is integrand, x is variable of integration, c is constant of integration. When we said integrate the function, it means find the integral of given function. Let's understand the geometrical interpretation of indefinite integral. First, draw the different parabolas whose vertex lies on y-axis, like y equals to x square, y equals to x square plus 1, y equals to x square plus 2, y equals to x square minus 1, and so on. Let's take the intersection of all these parabolas by a line x equals to a. In the figure we have taken a greater than 0. The same is true when a is less than 0. Here the line x equals to a intersects these parabolas at different points like p0, p1, p2, and so on. Then dy upon dx equals to 2x at all these points equals to 2a. This indicates that the tangents to the curve at these points are parallel. So we conclude that integral of fx equals to 2x with respect to x is equals to x square plus c, that is equals to gx plus c, represents a family of curves. The different values of c will correspond to different members of this family. This is geometrical interpretation of indefinite integral. Similarly, we have geometrical interpretation of definite integral. That is, if we find integral of a function within the interval a to b, it represents the area enclosed between the curve y equals to fx, x equals to a, x equals to b, and x-axis. Later on, after completing indefinite integrals, we will discuss it in detail. Students, I hope that you all have understood about basics of integration. Revise all the concepts which we have discussed today. In next e-lecture, we will discuss some elementary standard indefinite integrals which can be obtained directly from derivatives. So I request you all to revise derivatives of all the standard functions. Thank you.